Hi guys, and welcome to Escape with Watch Views. My name is Steve, and today we are reviewing the Cestrian Master Series version 3. It's a 40mm stainless steel sports watch, kind of that go anywhere, do anything style. It's got a Miyota 8215 inside. It's got a quick release system on the bracelet, on the fly adjustable clasp, 200 meters acclaimed water resistance. It's overall a pretty good set of specifications for the $230 US that you're going to pay for this watch. And I think it's even cheaper when you are in the UK. I want to say it was 145 pounds. So it is a really nice set of specifications. 200 meters acclaimed water resistance, kind of surprising for a watch like this, but yeah, actually a really nice watch. I've been enjoying it since Cestrian sent me these watches. I don't get to keep them for free, so it's not going to change my review one way or another, but I just thought I would let you guys know. So if you are interested in this watch, I'm going to leave all relevant links down in the video description. Go check them out. I think they have a pretty cool range of watches currently. I think there's 3 different styles that they have currently going on, and obviously they're going to be putting out more and more. So yeah, I say we get into the review of this. Before we do a quick wrist check today, wearing the Seiko SKX 175 on wrist today. Just an absolute classic. So yeah, let's get into the review of the Cestrian Master Series version 3. Okay, so let's get into the dimensions. We've got a case diameter of 39.9 millimeters, case thickness of 12.8 millimeters, got a standard 20 millimeter lug width, got a lug tip to lug tip of 45.4 millimeters, and sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist, it weighs 139 grams. So I actually think this is a pretty darn good size. It's got the 40 millimeter case, but it's pretty short lug to lug, so it's going to fit a lot of wrist sizes while also giving a little bit of wrist presence. It's got a pretty big dial as well. Decent turn down to the case, as you can see there. So it fits my 7.5 inch wrist nicely, as you can see. I've got no real complaints at the way this wears. The case is nice and soft. It feels balanced on wrist, and I think it looks pretty darn good. I did have a little bit of issues with strap clearances, so just go in knowing that. A little bit tight with some of the straps, so yeah, it could chew up some thicker leather straps, so just be aware of that. But other than that, I really haven't had any issues with the way this watch wears. I do really enjoy how it wears, and very comfortable, and really no issues. So when it comes to the case finishing, we have a mixture of brushing and polishing. You can see on the tops of the lugs here, we have really nice vertical brushing, very satinized, very clean and consistent. Looks good. We have polished chamfers that separate the tops of the lugs from the sides of the lugs there. I'm hoping you guys can see this here. There's a little bit of waviness just on this lug here. So I don't expect all the models to have that, but it's something that I kind of hope that they would catch. But there's definitely a little bit of waviness in this case side here. But looking at all the other ones, you can see they look fine. So I think it's just that one. But yeah, it's horizontally brushed on the case sides, pretty nicely done. We got an undercut on the case as well. So this edge is super smooth and soft. You got a really nice deep depression on the signed crown there with the Cestrian shield. I think it looks really good. Again, case finishing wise, pretty darn good on this watch. It's not the best that I've seen, obviously, and a little bit of a QC issue on this lug here, but besides that, the case finishing on this watch looks really good. I think it has just enough brushing and polishing to kind of balance it all out. It's not too in your face, but gives enough flair to make this dressy if you wanted to. And looking at the case back here, we have a simple screw down case back with notches there to get a tool on. No big deal there. Everything looks fine. This is fully polished, and it's going to get scratched up and stuff like that, but actually looks pretty good, and it's nice and smooth. So I have the Cestrian branding there. These are individually numbered as well. So yeah, overall, pretty happy with the case finishing on this watch. I think they did a pretty good job. So talking about the crystal, it is a sapphire crystal. I did test that for sapphire. It's just dead flat, as you can see there. It's sitting pretty much flush with the bezel there, a little tiny chamfer around the outside, clear inner reflective coating. I think it does a pretty good job of keeping the dial nice and legible. Got really no issues with the crystal on this thing. It's pretty simple, but well executed. So when it comes to the dial, you're looking at 8 different colorways. Some of them are sunburst, some of them are textured, most of them are silver applied indices, but there are, I believe, 1 or maybe 2 that have gold indices and hands, so just keep that in mind when you're checking them out. This one here is the green version. It's kind of like this olivey green, and it definitely has hints of brown. I've had, depending on the lighting, I've had this look straight up a brown color. So it's a really interesting and dynamic dial, and it changes depending on the lighting conditions. So I'm really happy with it. It's a pretty subtle sunburst, as you can see here. But again, I just think it looks really, really good. Very clean layout as well. No date there, so that's something you need to consider as well. But I like the big indices. It kind of reminds me of like a dive watch. So there's plenty of lume on the dial. The hands remind me a lot of like Grand Seiko style for some reason. You have a strip of lume that runs right out to the tip of this hand. So legibility wise, this watch is great. The hands, they are just flat. They aren't faceted. So just take that into consideration. Sometimes they can get lost, but there's enough lume on them that I think it's fine. And then the seconds hand there, little pop of red there, and then a little pop of red with the Master Series. 200 meters of claimed water resistance as well. The Cestrian logo with a Cestrian shield there at the 12 o'clock. It's all very cleanly done. I do like it a lot. One thing that I wish they would concentrate more on is the lume. So I'm going to pop it up against a couple other watches in the collection. Here you can see the lume is okay on the dial, but just horrible on the hands. The hands really just fade immediately. Yeah, and it wasn't really a big fan of that. You got blue lume on the seconds hand as well, which is a little interesting. But yeah, the lume on this watch is not great, especially when the hands fade before everything else. It's kind of a waste. So I really wish they would concentrate on putting better lume on this watch. All right, another thing for you guys to consider is the movement inside. So we have the Miyota 8215 inside. I know you kind of expect the Seiko NH35, but you're getting the Miyota. It's a Japanese workhorse movement. They've been around for a very long time. They've been updated recently, so they all hack now. The hand wind, 21,600 beats per hour, 42 hours of power reserve. They're excellent movements, and the one thing that I have a problem with this movement is the single directional winding rotor, so you do get a little bit of rotor whirl when you're using this daily. It's not too bad on this case. It's a pretty solid and thick case, so yeah, the rotor whirl is really kept to a minimum. I do hear it, but it's not as bad as, you know, like a thinner dress watch or something like that. So these movements, again, they've been around for a very long time, and I've got really no complaints with them anymore. This one here is running plus 13 seconds a day. I do like them being a little on the fast side. That's a little bit much for me, but if you're going to wear this daily, you're going to be resetting it every couple of days. So just something to think about. But again, really not too much to complain about. We have a screw down crown here at the 3 o'clock position. Again, nicely signed there. Yeah, nice and grippy too. Plenty of grip on that. I have no issues there. Releases from the threads nicely. First position is hand winding. Feels nice and smooth. Second position is a ghost date position. I can hear it clicking around back there, so they didn't take the guts out of it or anything. And then you pull it out to the third position. This one does hack there, and then you can set your time here. Everything functions exactly like you would expect it to. The crown feels nice and solid as well. You push it in, starts up the movement every time. Screw down crown, it picks up those threads immediately, so no real worry about cross threading. Yeah, overall, pretty happy with the movement inside. I know some people don't like the 8215, but it's a movement that has been proven for a very long time, just as much as the Seiko NH35, or even more so. So, yeah, I don't have too much to complain about on this watch. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet on the watch. So the bracelet is 20 millimeters. It tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. It's a 3-link bracelet. You can see here, it does not fully articulate, so there's a bank of 3 links there. It's pretty typical for a bracelet like this. It's just an oyster-style bracelet. The bottom edge, it's been rounded off pretty nicely, maybe a touch sharp, but really not that bad at all. Push pins for sizing, solid links, solid end links, quick release spring bars on there, and then we have an on-the-fly adjustable clasp as well. So overall, it's a pretty solid bracelet. I think the tolerances are pretty darn good. This is not, I would say this is maybe just this is like a newer Watch Dives level of oyster style bracelet. If you've had one of those, it's better than like an Addy's Dive, but not quite as good as like a Sugasa or something like that. So yeah, just go in and knowing that it's a decent and usable bracelet. And then the on-the-fly adjustable clasp here, really nicely branded with the Cestrian logo, brushing on top, brushing on the side, polished chamfer. Again, it's a clasp that we've seen plenty of times, fully milled on the inside, nice tolerances. It opens and closes without any issues. And then you have your on-the-fly system here, a little bit different than what we typically see, but easy to use. You can see it says adjust there. You can tighten this down on wrist. without pressing the button. To extend it out, you have to pull this lever over and then you can slide it out. So yeah, pretty good range of motion as well. I'd say probably like 7 or 8 millimeters of adjustment. So you're going to be able to get a good fit on this watch. Yeah, I've got really no complaints with that. The spring bars, they don't really dig into my wrist at all. It's not something that I feel. I know every wrist is different in that regard, but yeah, I think the bracelet is fine. I would like to see a little bit more flair on this. This is just a pretty standard 3-link bracelet, but it's not a bad 3-link bracelet, I'll say that. So overall, pretty happy with the bracelet on the watch. So there you go, guys. That is the Cestrian Master Series version 3. I think it's a pretty cool package. I like the watch in general. The movement I'm kind of iffy on still, but I mean, it's just a workhorse movement. They've been around forever, and they're not going to give you any problems, and they're pretty accurate as well. So yeah, again, just not too much to complain about. I like the quick release on the bracelet. I like the on-the-fly clasp, and I like the overall design of the watch, and I like the branding. The packaging is actually pretty cool as well. So yeah, it's a pretty solid package from a micro brand. I mean, when you talk about micro brands in this segment, something like this is going to cost probably an extra $100, $150 from somebody else. So yeah, I like what they're doing. I think they put out really nice watches for the money. So yeah, that's my general thought on the brand and this watch in general. It's not perfect, but it's actually pretty darn good for the price. So again, if you are interested in this, I'll be leaving the links down in the video description. Go check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.